Now, you've heard a few of our stories with Kate and Kim here at Kimberly House in Clearwater, but the authentic story starts in New Jersey. Kate went to DePaul High School, where I taught. We missed each other by a few years.
Right.
Um, you were born and raised in Wayne.
Absolutely, right in Holy Cross Parish, lived next to the rectory.
Wow.
So there was 7 of us, and we were raised right in the church, and we were always helping out with. My parents were very involved, and so we were helping the nuns or the priests, always folding bulletins,
Of course.
doing a mimeograph machine.
Oh, I remember those.
All those things, absolutely.
And then you went to DePaul. Now,
I did.
When did you come to DePaul?
68.
Oh,
60,
okay,
68.
so before me.
Yeah,
Okay.
68. We graduated. No, we graduated in 68. I'm sorry. So 64.
Okay, still
Yeah.
before, you know. I left there later than that. Okay, and did DePaul education affect you at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I loved DePaul. All my brothers and sisters but one went there. So I was sort of at the tail end of that. So by the time I got there, there was a reputation, not a good one, a good one.
The Kellys.
Yeah, when I would bump into somebody and they would ask my name and they'd say, "Oh, another one." You know,
Yeah. No.
another one of you. So no, it was great. I loved it.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you had a brief stint at William Patterson as well.
I did, yeah. Just
then-
a little bit of maybe a year,
And
then
then
I
came.
ended up married and here, and been here ever since.
Wow, and you're here in Clearwater area
Yes.
in Florida.
Mhm.
Okay, we've been talking to Kate and Kim about Kimberly Home. Okay, give us a God story, because you referred to God stories before, and between the two of you, there back and forth, there's been many God stories. Give us one that you
There's
can
so many.
share.
Okay, I'll give you a quick one. When we first moved in, like I mentioned, it was fairly small
Right.
and not in great shape. And we have an architect who's been helping us, female architect Patty, and she's been helping us since I've been here. And she was awesome. And so she was helping with some of the renovations we were doing. But when we got in, we needed to paint and scrape and just do what we could. So one of the problems was the floor was that old linoleum, and it was all rolled up and curled up, and people are trying to drag strollers and high chairs and cribs along that, and I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt. So I called Patty one day and I said, "Patty, you know, we've done all this, and the one thing left is the floor. It's just not going to, and I can't find anybody to help." And she said, "Kate, I have called everybody." So she said, "You know what to do." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
I hear.
pray." Right. So I hung up and I threw up this very quick prayer, quicker than normal, and not exactly super reverent. And I said, "Come on, Lord, can you help us here? I don't want anybody to get hurt." And Father, within 5 minutes, the phone rang. And it was a gentleman from a church down the road, and he said, "You know, you don't know me." He said, "But you're at my church this past weekend talking," and he said, "I just have a strong feeling that I need to do something for you." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Well, can I ask, you know, what do you do?" He said, "I own a carpet and tile store."
Oh, carpet and tile.
And he came and he got us the tile for pennies, and he and his brother put it all in for a donation. And I mean, and that was probably one of the quickest ones. They don't always go that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it happens all the time. It's just
That's
amazing.
beautiful. That's
but
beautiful.
there's tons.
What's your most significant experience here since you're involved with Kimberly House?
You know, I started as a housing director. I now work with Kate as a development. But I started working with the girls one-on-one, and I think one of the most significant things that I've seen is the life change in the mother's home and their lives. I had one girl particularly. I remember she came in. She was in a shelter at another place, and they made her come here because she was pregnant. And I remember meeting with her in a room, interviewing her for our program, and she was very honest with me and said, "I'm only here because they're making me, and I'm having an abortion in 2 days." And I just had a very frank conversation because she had come from an addiction background, and I had worked with addictions for years. And so her and I just had a very honest conversation. And I didn't try to make her feel bad, but I also just said, why? And we just had a very honest, open conversation. I encouraged her to look at our program and just give it a chance. She literally came back. I'm telling you, we prayed, but she came back and she came into our housing program, and I watched her then struggle with maybe giving the baby up for adoption or not. She chose to have that baby. She's still parenting that child. She got her first full-time job that she's had. She has her own apartment. She has a car. She has her struggles. She definitely has her up and downs, because there's things that she still has to overcome. But I've seen her go from that girl that was like, I just want to give up on life, to where she is today. And I still keep in touch with her, and I love seeing that. And those kind of moments are amazing. Or, we kind of laugh because one time we had 3 mothers that were having twins, and we have a 3-bedroom house, and we thought it was a brilliant idea to put them all in the same house, because we thought they could be a support to each other. It was a little overwhelming.
I can imagine.
But they were able to support, because who else could understand being a mother of twins, than another mother of twins? And just seeing those things, seeing some of these girls overcome their addictions and see them overcome those negative things, their relationships coming back together. Maybe we had a husband and wife and they were separated, now they're back together. They still have struggles, but they're working through them, which is it's neat to watch that.
We have a doctor.
Yeah.
One of our clients, she wanted to go to medical school, and she thought her life was over. She could never do that. So after the baby was born, we let her stay longer than normal because she was determined. So she studied for the MCATs and took them like 3 times and got her best score. Now she's in med school.
She's in her last school year before residency.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, awesome.
Good stories. You mentioned the husband. Do the boyfriends/husbands get involved?
Some of them, not as many as we'd like, but some of them. We try to work on that. That if it is a good relationship, we want to kind of keep them together.
Right.
But if it's not, then the best thing would be not to.
Yeah. And percentage-wise, how many do the women keep, and how many babies do they put up for adoption?
These days, most keep.
okay.
Adoption is the numbers have gone, I think, since I've been here, gone down a lot. But there's the stigma, I think, for a pregnant single woman is not as great as it used to be.
Right.
And so that's made a difference, I'm sure.
Okay. And have you met any children who were adopted later?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We were an adoption agency for several years, and it just got to be too much. We had to pass that along, but I still keep in touch with them. And they send pictures all the time. It's a beautiful thing when it's done.
That's great.
The youngest, our first client was 12-year-old, and
wow.
So she placed her baby for adoption. But they now have 2 adopted children, that couple.
That's great.
They're awesome.
Before Kimberly was mentioning something, and you summarized the logo for Kimberly Home as hope.
A place of hope and new beginnings.
A place of hope and new beginnings, and that's how we're going to end. This has been Father Louis SCURTI with Kate Kelly, originally from Wayne, New Jersey. And Kim, where you from originally?
Carrie?
Westland, Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. I don't even know where that is.
Yeah, it's a small town.
This has been Father Louis SCURTI and our videographer, Jerry Reynolds, melting in the sun. But we had to be outside, and I feel a little drizzle, so it might be raining, so we'll come to an end. And all of the information about our experience today will be online on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and friendsoftheword.org. And how to contribute and get in touch with Kimberly Home will be there as well. God bless you, and thank you for joining us, and keep the word alive and well. God bless you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you so much.
It's wondeful.
Awesome.
Oh,
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I'm anxious to go put these up. Hey, Infante. There we go. Okay, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you guys. Thank you.